Oh, hold on 1 second. Okay, yeah, we're good. All right. Welcome to the Fabishmark podcast. I have my bro Edie on. I wish I could have done this sooner, but yeah. Welcome, Edie. Do we need even to do introductions?
Hey,
This is Edie. He's very cool. He's amazing. If you wanna talk to him, let me know.
right here,
Um,
exactly.
but before we continue, Edie, I just wanted to play you a song, and then you tell me what this reminds you of.
All right.
Okay. All right. All right. Hold on 1 second. I don't know if you can hear this.
uh, yes.
I need a song. I need some glasses or something. Mhm.
Come on.
My name is Roberto Amaru.
Maru.
Oh, have you seen my Amaru? So sweet and fine like she
Come
comes in a
on.
month. You
Yes.
remember that?
Oh.
Yeah.
That's that.
Um.
That
You
just brought me back.
know,
That was
those were
childhood.
those were some good times, man. Now, like,
Yes.
you know what's so funny? Somebody told me the other day that every moment is almost the same, but from the future, the past, because you already know how it ends, looks good, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, compared to the 2010s, man, the 2020s, hey, like
Ooh,
since the beginning of 2020, it's just been like COVID and then one thing and then
something. It's
another,
always something.
and then like these wars and whatever, and it's just I don't know. I think because I've known you for so long, like we've kind of walked the same path, and so it's easy to know, like like to actually like it's hard to find people who understand things when I explain to them, because they're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, that doesn't make sense. Like if I'm like, yeah, I've had
Yes.
visa issues, they're like, yeah, I don't know about that, or like even just explaining to them like moving around and living in different places and whatever. Most people don't get that, but you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and so yeah, like I don't know what you think about that time, but when I was listening to this song the other day, and I was like, you know what, like it's actually worse right now in so
No,
many
it's
ways. I mean,
You're right. It's the nostalgia. It's like, on my playlist I have a lot of like those type of music, and like sometimes I just go on a drive and I just put them on full volume. I just listen to. It just brings me back to this like moment of like, wow, that 20, like you say, the 2010s. And it's like, sometimes like it's hard to find the people that will actually like understand. They'll listen to you. If you want to vent in that way, like they'll listen to what you say. But it's always hard to find that person that was like, oh yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. So sometimes you become that for yourself. And I just, or at least for me, I just get in the car, turn on the music, and play some Diamond Platinums. Play some
yeah,
Zambia.
yeah, yeah. I'm telling you,
So that's so
those
good.
those were the times, man. Okay, so because you know me so well, do you have a question for me?
Do I have a question for you?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think kind of like what you're saying about like the 2010s and the 2020s,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
like, it's a different time period, I feel like. And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
so I think my question is like, you're living in Kenya right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm living in the States, and I think we both. I don't really I have first of all, I haven't really talked to you in a while,
You know
and
why? Yeah, yeah.
I feel like you're saying like there's people that can relate. And my question is like, what are some things that you're doing in Kenya, like with the jobs, and like you're talking about this like rioting and stuff like that. And then we're living over here, like if you were to explain to like somebody that's living in America, it's like, how is it, what's the similarity, and what are the difference in the current like 2010s, and like,
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
we're not
Well, okay.
we're separated by distance, but to some
Yes.
extent we're very connected in
Very
a lot.
similar. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, okay. That's a very good question. Actually, like, I think the 2010s, in Kenya were such a chill time. I mean, looking back, the only incident in the whole decade was really there was two. There was the Westgate attack on the mall in
Mm-hmm.
Nairobi, where like Al Shabaab came in and shot people. Then there was also the university attack in Garissa. Those two were the biggest things. And then there was like some political issues, but it wasn't huge. And so then, like, I feel like in 2020, that age of people, um, oh yeah, that age of people grew
Yeah.
up to be adults, right? And so now the difference between the US, well, Kenya then and now is like we had a lot of people, but they were illiterate. Right now, the majority of people are very literate. Like they've gone to school. The biggest generation is like 20 to 29 right now,
Mhm.
and then a lot of them have gone to school. So it's very hard for them to accept the things that our parents used to be okay with. So that's like the
Right.
biggest difference. And so like I think COVID was kind of a turning point. And so now there's a lot of social issues, economic issues, like all these things that people now are bringing up to the surface that before our
Yes.
parents were so okay with because they didn't care. Like if someone's reading the budget, they will just kind of look at the TV and be like, oh, whatever. Now the people now, the adults now, like the young adults now, are so smart. They will go and like look at every single detail and be like, oh, that's not right. Oh, that's not right. And so now, like, I feel like we are the most proactive age, and we have to set the precedent for the next like generation, which is you never want to be that group that makes like sets like makes the times good. Have you had that
Mhm.
statement that uh, a tough man create good times or something like that? I feel like right now we have to go through a very tough period so that the
Yeah.
future generation kind of kind of enjoy the fruits. But again, it's like
A similar saying goes like, "A calm sea never makes a good sailor," or something like that. You know.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so now, like, another thing is in the 2010s compared to now, there was no social media, so that has changed the landscape. Like,
Yes.
even like with work and all these things, like in 2010, Kenya, I mean, there was Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, but it wasn't that big. And then TikTok came in, and I don't know why people even like Kenyan creators, every single person I know has a TikTok account. Whereas
Mhm.
like no people are not so into like making YouTube or like posting on I mean they posted on Facebook but not as much. I feel like it's because the ease of editing. Like it's very hard to do a long form video and then edit it into YouTube for people to like. But for TikTok, it's very short. In fact, the worse it looks, the more interesting it can be sometimes. And so yeah, so I feel like right now those two things have really transformed how everything happens. Like if someone gets slapped, right? Like out here, and someone recorded it, the whole of Kenya is gonna know. It's you like everywhere you go, there's a camera watching, and so one, it's really brought awareness on very important things. Like sicknesses and all these things like HIV and whatever, where people used to be very stigmatized. Now you go to TikTok, there's someone talking about that. It's brought awareness on
Yes.
like political
Yes.
issues,
Yes.
economic issues. There's always people sharing on like how you could make money, how you could do this, how you could do this. Yes, it has a bad side to it, but I feel like people have really, really, really like benefited from that compared to like the other generation.
Yeah.
Now, for
Yeah.
the US, man, where do I even start? The 2010s, I
But I
feel like
mean,
the US.
to kind of like to kind of or like go on the same trail you're
Yeah,
going on. You know,
yeah.
it's exactly. I feel like I'm not. I'll see a lot of it on social media, but I'm not as a political guy or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Exactly what you just talked about is actually what we are seeing here too. It's a bit of like the young generation are actually like their purpose is like they're actually standing up for something. They're standing up against the government. All that's going on, and it's like like I said earlier in my question. What are some we're separated by distance, but like there's a lot of similarities. So like the generation in Kenya, like what they call them, Gen Z.
Gen Z, yeah, yeah.
Kenya and in America, it's the same mindset. We're all fighting for the same thing, and we've kind of we are able like to stand up against anything that's like
Uh huh, uh
oppressive.
huh, uh huh.
We have our purpose, and we know what
Mm-hmm.
and so
Yeah,
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 we're just very I guess rebellious in positive
yeah,
terms.
yeah. Yeah, that's so interesting because, like, I think we will see, again, like I said, in the next 10 years, we look back and either look at this time with a lot of fondness or regret. I really hope it's not regret. I hope we don't say we should have done more, or we should have done
Mm,
this, or we should have done this, because
mm,
again, like right now, in as much as there's a lot of young people who are trying to change the world, there's also a lot of young people who are so comfortable they do not care, right?
mm.
Like they're kind of like there's the shepherd and then the sheep. We have a lot of sheep too. There's people who just they double click, they move, they double click, they move, they get their food, they sleep, they go to work. That's it. And so we also have a lot of those people, and I think the reason why I figured this out is because of who Andrew Tate is, right?
I know Andrew. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Him rising to power shows that there's a lot of people who do not leave their home. Imagine,
Ah,
imagine, imagine this.
he
Someone
take.
works from home. Someone works from home. They can order food. They have a laundry machine. They have a gym at their house. What are they going to do outside, right? So then, like what they do is they'll work and watch YouTube, and then one way or another they'll fall into the grasp of Andrew Tate, and then now they will capture the views. The views go outside, maybe find a few friends who also have the same idea. And then so every time they go out, right, that's what they meet. And so then Andrew Tate says women should do this and women should do this. So it's creating a lot of men, right, young men who I think are so like so sheltered and in a cocoon that they don't really understand the real life. So either
Yeah.
you're like a shepherd or a sheep. And so I feel
Mhm.
I feel like in the same way, like I'm gonna be totally honest. I see people like now, I'll sit down with them and I'm like, hey, yeah, so how's it going? And they're like this, like, yeah, oh, sorry. Uh, wow, did you see this TikTok? And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, and then I'm like, so who's your favorite TikToker? Like, I don't really have one. I just watch TikToks. And then you'll say something like, man, I love playing FIFA. They're like, you play FIFA? You should play Roblox. I'm like, oh boy, like they're so into that the
Yes.
world, they kind of, and these are the people who, like, to be very honest, like, I'm also not into like political stuff, but people don't do their research, right? They hear what someone else says, and if they trust that
That's
person,
that's very
if they
dangerous.
trust that person, they will just go with that. So let's say
Yeah.
let's say you and I are like we've known each other for a long time, and I say, Edie is a bad president, and Edie does this, or Edie is so good, and Edie does this. If I don't do my research, right, all I'll do is like, I trust what he says.
Mhm,
I think,
mhm,
yeah,
mhm.
I think he's right. And I will not do my research. And then the next time I'm seated with learned people who actually do research, I'm gonna spew my nonsense to them, and so it's the same thing that I see all the time, where someone comes up with like a an out of like left field take. Like, what do you mean? Like, where did you hear that? They'll go, yeah. Do you know that the president's wife is a man? I'm like, oh, where did you hear that? Like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I was talking to
So,
someone
yes,
about.
yes.
I was talking to
Yes.
someone about the French president Emmanuel Macron, right? There was a video of him slapped by his wife. I don't know if you saw this,
I saw that. I
but
saw that.
yeah.
Yes.
And so I was like, man, that's interesting. And then somebody just out of nowhere went, yeah, his wife is a man. And I go, oh, okay.
Hmm.
Tell me about that. And they're like, yeah, Candice Owens. I'm like, oh, okay, Candice. And so then I'm like, who told you this? Like,
And there
yeah,
was, I'm sure they were very confident, confident saying
very,
all that.
very, yeah, yeah. And they have like receipts. Pull out the receipts and start a business. And I'm like,
Yes.
oh my gosh, what is this? But yeah. So that to me is like, it's hard to know if you're a sheep or a shepherd, because again, I think in the Kenya is very different in this, but in the US, people are very isolated. Like, you don't just walk into someone's compound or walk into someone's house. People kind of like being like, you can't even touch someone's baby without their permission, right?
That is-
Whereas
yeah.
in Kenya, kids just run around. Like, I mean, we
I
grew up
remember,
like,
I
go
remember
ahead.
like when I was younger, like a random lady would come and pinch my cheeks.
Yeah, pinch your cheeks. Yeah, yeah, and you're like, oh, hi, and
You
and,
really
and,
do
and
that, really?
yeah, yeah. In the US, they'll be like, whoa, we're gonna press charges, and you're like, whoa. And so even like I remember, like, walking the dog, down the street in South Carolina, and like you see people and they're on a run, and you're like, hello, they're like, hi, and then they just walk by, you're like, ah, and here it's like, yo, what's up, man? How's it going? And so I think here it's very easy to know those people who kind of don't do any research, they don't go out because they will be exposed very easily. In the
Mm-hmm.
US, it's very hard to just have a conversation with your neighbor. Like you leave, you go to work, you have to make an effort to have a community.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, it's a very
Yeah.
interesting world.
That's
But
You're right. You're right. It's like community. I mean, like I guess I don't know if this is gonna like register. I guess, but I would say like even just going back to the community aspect, I would say like the first 2 years were like people were asking like, is there a culture shock? How is it? Everything. And I always had this like, smile and a very like positive, positive mind. And I think it was just because like everything for the first like 2 to 3 years or 4 years was just new. And so like everything was intriguing and like it was this new stimuli coming in. And like, I was just like, nothing was, there's
amazing,
nothing like,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
there's
yeah, yeah.
nothing like shock. There's nothing like, I'm missing home or any of that stuff. And then I would say like the last 2 years or maybe a year and a half has been actually where it's actually has like kicked in. And I think that's because like when I was actually thinking about it the other day, just sitting down having coffee and just kind of no phone or anything. I kind of like, okay, I'm just gonna put that away, just have coffee and just be in my head and just gonna let it flow,
Yeah.
let
Uh-huh.
whatever that's coming. I was thinking like what you're talking about. Like if I go out on the streets, if I go take a walk, like I'd probably just like circle my whole neighborhood and probably not meet anybody. Or if I meet somebody, I say hey, and it's like it's kind of a little bit awkward, a little bit. I don't know. It could be probably from my side, but I've started to like in Kenya you go on the streets and we played with the ajwala, the stuff
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, yeah. Oh, banta.
You know? Take your
Yeah.
time playing with
Uh-huh,
Jwala and
uh-huh.
stuff, So it's like, oh man, that's kind of not there. But of course, it's a different time. I mean, I'm like the age and all that stuff. But the cool thing is like one thing that I also have noticed that a lot of like international share is that part of it. Is like I've started like there's a pickup game over at a park here, and I go there like every Saturdays at 11. And every Saturday there's like a group of people that just show up. From South America. I've met people from Kenya. I've met people from West Africa and everything. And it's just a large group. Like we create like two teams of over 20 players and stuff, and it's just a fun time. And like that's gonna you see like the different mindset because like we don't know each other, and they
Yeah,
just
yeah,
show up.
yeah, yeah,
And by
yeah.
the time we leave after playing 2 hours or something, by the time we leave, you're their best friend. Like he's like, bro,
Mm-hmm.
come to the cookout. Come to it's like
Yeah,
and
yeah, 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 yeah. It's amazing. I think I've is that Holmes Park?
no, the home they took the goals out of Holmes Park, but this one it's called Gary L. Pittman's Park. It's like about 15 minutes from
Oh,
there.
okay, okay, okay.
But
Man,
yeah, it's exactly the same similar thing that was happening at Holmes Park,
yeah.
but this is
Okay.
international.
That's amazing. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's always great to meet people like that. Which
yeah.
oh
And though sometimes I feel like you need that kind of like not like environment where it's just like you feel like you can walk into it and you just like, okay, am I like you can be yourself. You're not dumbing down to like something like, okay, I hope they will accept this version of myself.
yeah, 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 yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm just gonna be me. And you're good at soccer, you're good at whatever, and you can start a conversation like somebody wants to talk. And like exactly, for a moment like that, all the phones are out. And so like when you talk to somebody, it's very genuine. Like they're not thinking about, hey, look at my TikTok,
Yeah,
or
yeah, 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 yeah.
they're
Uh-huh.
thinking about like, oh yeah, we're from, it's good. You're actually connecting on your similarities of being like immigrants in the United States. And also, and with that, just like a deep connection. And that's why like they can ask, they can say like, hey, come to our cookouts, or they can connect you with another community. Like, oh yeah, I know this Kenyan guy that just moved here a few years ago. And that has happened a lot. And that's kind of how I've started to like meet new
Yeah,
people
yeah, yeah. That's amazing,
in
bro.
life. Yeah. So
You know what else? Like in Nairobi is kind of becoming that way. People are kind of just busy all the time, right? But
mm,
I happen to work at a climbing gym. I have never climbed in the last 4 years that I worked there until like 3 or 4 weeks ago. I actually never climbed.
wait. So you worked there 4 years and
Three
you never
years.
3 years,
I've,
and you never went out.
I could count on my. And how many times I've
Oh,
climbed.
come on, man.
Yeah,
That's
I know, because in my mind, it's the same idea of like, if you're selling something, right, and like you're selling like cake, right, you won't eat it all the time. It becomes like, it's just there, right? Except the other day, somebody was like trying a route. They were setting a route,
mhm.
and then like it seemed in my mind, it seemed very easy. Okay, now this is where like you realize how much unfit you are, which actually made me want to start working out. I mean, I'm not like unfit, but I was also not like in the shape, right? So then I was like, yo, that's easy, and they were like, try it. It was for the first time. I was embarrassed. Like I've never been embarrassed. Like I've played football, hockey, swimming. I've never had a situation where I feel like, whoa, everyone's watching and they're recording, and
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
don't.
exactly.
And I could not reach one hold. I kept swinging and missing, and then I had to be humble and be like, you know what, that was hard. So now,
That
now, now.
I have brought some friends to the gym over here at Blockhaven. You know, and like it's a different type of strength. To be honest, like you go to the gym, look all buff and everything, and then you go climbing, and it's just a different type of like technique, mindset, and it's just a different type of strength. And so like it kind of shows you like like can you lift you like you can. It's like pull ups. Can you lift yourself? And are you able to like? It's all on the legs and stuff. And it's usually so interesting to see those people, like it's easy, like I can
Yeah,
get
yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's not real like that, and
My
it's very much on the forearms, and it's very much on the toes, on the feet and stuff. It's not really much about like that your muscle strength and stuff. And it's I don't know. That's kind of why I like it because like you can always progress like that, and it's like a very easy kind of similar to calisthenics a little bit like that.
my excuse has
Challenge.
always been I'm not tall enough. That's why you set the route higher. And then this guy did it, and I was like, okay. So then I made them a promise. I was like, in the next 1 year, I'm going to beat you all in climbing. And they were
Hey,
like, no, no. So now, secretly, I'm working on this. Every time they're not seeing, I'm trying to climb because in a year, I should beat them all. But they're so good. Like, I mean, like there are people who just their hands are so strong. They've done it for so long.
yes.
And so because I work in the office side of Blue Sky, by the time you leave, you're kind of very tired. You don't have time to climb, which is fun enough because you sit. I didn't realize this until the other day. When you're working all the time and you're just sitting, you feel more tired than if you're just moving around. Which
Moving more, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So now I'm trying to like stand, move around, and then maybe climb after work, just so I don't fall into that category of people who can't climb. That's because like it made me think. If someone ever comes around and there's no one at the gym and I'm the only instructor, what am I gonna do? Like what am I gonna tell them? So, or if
Exactly.
they're like, show us how this is done, I'm like, hey, can I call someone to? I don't
Who
want to.
comes, who comes
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
that's
It's like working at a swimming pool and then like like drowning in the deep end. It's like, whoa, wait, yeah, you should be fired or
funny.
something. But
Have you? So do you guys? You say you're at the gym, but do you guys also do stuff outdoors, like climbing outdoors and stuff?
oh yeah,
Or
yeah,
is it
yeah.
okay?
Yes, actually, I don't know if you saw this, but just the other day, the other there's a full video I'm making coming out. We were in this place called Lucania. It's like right outside Nairobi, so it's like maybe an hour outside Nairobi. It's really cool. And we did some climbing stuff there, and like it's one of the most beautiful places in Kenya for sure. Like the view. I don't know if you can see this. Sorry, let me reduce the brightness.
Yeah, it has to focus a little bit.
I don't know if you can see that,
Oh yeah,
but
I see that.
um, so like that's on top of the rock, but
Wow.
like I'll send you this video. But like yeah, so like I mean Blue Sky. So the way Blue Sky is set, we have the
Mhm.
climb Blue Sky part, which is like the gym, and then we have Blue Sky Expeditions, which does like Mount Kenya. It does like Hell's Gate, Lucania, and then you can also like make your own trip basically. So if you want to like go to like Aberdeen, And then Blue Sky will be like, here's a quote, here's how much it takes, here's what you need. Are you going as a person or as a group or whatever? So yeah, we do both. The guy
That's awesome.
who led this training, oh my
Hmm.
goodness, he's amazing. His name is Richard.
Okay.
He is one of the calmest people I've ever met. We were
He's
hanging by the huh?
he's Kenyan.
He's Kenyan. Yeah, we were
Okay.
hanging on the rope, right? And so then I'm like, I need to take better shots, like because I was taking pictures. And he goes, yeah, I think what we need to do is hang you halfway, right, like from the top, so that you can take
Mhm,
pictures of
mhm.
people going up or people going down. And I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. But like, he's so calm. He actually makes you believe that it's fine. So yeah, he did get me up, hanged me halfway. I was just hanging there, just and then I realized how scary it is for people, the people who shot free solo,
Oh
because
yeah.
you're basically hanging halfway. You're taking pictures. You have your camera, so you have to keep shifting it and like putting stuff in the lenses and all that stuff, and then
Yeah.
taking pictures of put down and up, while at the same time trying to think, am I gonna fall? You know, and
Oh
it's
my God.
very high. Yeah, I was looking down. I was like, hey, yo. But the hardest part of the whole thing was trusting the rope, like because like he told he so I went up, like just climbing normally, and then halfway he goes, let go of the rope and just lean back. And I was looking at that thing and I'm like, I've worked at the climbing gym for so long. This is very different, right?
It is.
Should I
Yeah.
let go of this rope? And the African in me was like, nah, nah, I'm not. I was like, nah. I'm like, hey, yo. So then eventually I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna try. But still, I was looking at it. I was like, constantly like being like, what if it snaps? And so eventually,
Yeah.
like after some time, it got like better. But yeah, Blue Sky is really
That's awesome.
amazing. The stuff they do, like you don't think about it until you see it, and you're like, wow, this is
Yeah.
pretty
Tell
cool.
me, tell me, tell me about that. So like, so you've been in Kenya, I think 4 years now, a little bit
Hmm.
over four
Hmm.
years. So like, just kind of, how you got into Blue Sky, and just kind of like how, I don't know. It's interesting. Like you kind of touched a little bit about this, but what is that? How is it like? Is it easy for like social life there, and like, and I can share on my side, but like how you kind of
Mm.
got involved with Blue Sky, and do you like being on the office side of Blue Sky, or would you like to be the outdoor side of things, or kind of do in
Man,
between?
yeah. So I left the US during COVID, went to
Yeah.
Malindi. I was in Malindi for maybe 2 years, maybe. No, a year and a half, I think. And I was doing school around that time, so it was just hardcore, like
Oh,
online school. And then Chris was like, you know what? I think it's time for you to come to Nairobi. So I first went to camp for Blue Sky, right? And
uh-huh.
I liked it. I was like, it's great. I love camp. It was amazing. Like it was great, like meeting people and socializing. And the reason why it was really cool is these people had a perspective of what it looked like to live in both worlds. And so it was very easy to kind of feel like, okay, they get what I'm saying. Like it's not like if I say something about the US or switch very fast to like something about Kenya, they're not gonna be like, oh, hold on, what does that mean? And so that was easy. And then later I became an intern with Blue Sky, doing social media. And so I would do like maybe 3 days, one full day, 2 half days, and then do school the rest of the time. And remember, like I was supposed to do 4 years of school. I pressed it all into 3 years. So that last year, I was like constant work, which is funny because my last ever work I did like for school that I submitted, I did it while at work at Blue Sky. Like it was like at like 5 p.m. Um,
Wow.
and so I would come into the office, work half day, then work, do school the rest of the time.
Yeah.
And then when I when I graduated, I kind of went into like just working for them now. And because I've always done the back end of things,
Hmm.
I've never known what it feels like to work the front end of things. Does that make sense? Because of the schedules are very different. If you work at the gym, you leave around 8:30. You come a bit later, but you leave a bit later. Whereas at the gym, it's like 9 to 5. Sorry, the office part is 9 to 5. And um, because Blue Sky is kind of like it's an expat like group,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
kind of find yourself in that community a lot, like hang
Okay.
out with them. So Blue Sky has camp, which I mean, camp. We have
Hmm.
the climb, we have
Hmm.
expeditions, which is the outdoor stuff, And then we have team development, which does like corporate groups, and it's like intentional. Chris is intentional.
Oh yeah,
It's yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So team development is like that, and then we have family life, which family life does like marriage retreats. It does like base camp, which base camp is like every weekend on Sunday. These kids can't, like, they come and like play games and like read the scripture and hang out and all these things. And then we have young adult like
Hmm.
meetings. There's this amazing couple, the Donovans, that just, yeah, they moved here, and they've been running young adults, and it's been amazing. So like, every Sunday there's like a hangout, or like there's like a game somewhere, like they'll go play a game or do something really fun. And so through that you kind of have like your small community. um the social life in that sense, that's kind of where it is. Like, it's very hard because Nairobi is a very big city, and again, like in a big city, there's people have different ideas of what social life is. And so for me, like, I've always been very indoorsy in that sense. Like, I don't like go out or do all that stuff. I kind of just hang out, and then now I'm also like doing another part-time job on the side. But I feel like Nairobi is one of those places where whatever you're looking for is there. And so, I mean, I hang out with Willie, Musa, these people at Young Adult sometimes,
Hmm.
and then at the
Hmm.
gym. And so there's that group. If you want like to go the church route, there's the church group, that you can hang out with. And so it's kind of in its own way like this really small little like group of people who
Okay.
all kind of oscillate the blue sky, like, a universe. And so
Yeah.
that's kind of it. I don't think I've. I mean, I regularly meet people who are just, I mean, total strangers, and then get to know them, but not like, oh yeah, this person is like, everyone I know has kind of come from work, church, or
Church.
someone I knew.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's just,
yeah.
it's kind of enough. Yeah.
Yeah. And how do you for the camp? I know there's been a lot of there's a lot of like American like students that come through, right? And I only know that because my dad, when he was there, he helps recruit with the recruitment, right? How do you guys get or like get that done now? Is it are you also overseeing all that, like the recruitment
No.
and everything? No, no.
So, like camp, every department in Blue Sky kind of has its own like group. So we
Yeah.
do have someone doing recruitment in the US, and then someone doing
Okay.
recruitment here, which is so great because of these young adult like meetings and all these things. There is a huge, amazing group of people that's very easy to pick from to work at camp,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
because it's all within Blue Sky. So like, most probably like people who worked last year are working this year because they're just
Yeah.
amazing. And so rarely do you find someone who's like, don't come back. um and so yeah, it's a great group. And Steph is doing recruitment in the States. And
In this.
so yeah. So it's like on both sides, but the Kenyan one is kind of easy because we already have that pool of people.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, what would you, what do you like if you were like, let's say you were the recruiter in Kenya or in America, what would be like your selling points for Blue Sky? And then let's say like you are the guy that's like, you know what, my time is done at Blue Sky. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm gonna just be transparent. What would be your
Yeah.
your drawbacks about Blue Sky?
Man, my selling points. It's an amazing place. One, the people who work at Blue Sky are amazing. Like, they do, like when you just see someone who fits a role, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Camp has that. Like Ethan, the guy that does like he's the guy that does programs at Blue Sky. He fits that. Like, you look at him and you're like, that guy would make me smile, or that guy would make, you know what I mean. So like, he's that. And so I
Okay.
think that, like, my selling point would be just Kenya. Like, if you're in the States and you want to come to camp, Kenya is just, you're coming to Kenya. That's enough. That in itself is enough. If you're coming to camp, you're coming to, okay, let me say it in a way that people get, Africa, right? You're coming to Africa,
Yeah.
Kenya, Nairobi. And so those three things, put them together and think a bit for a minute. So Africa, I mean, it's Africa. Kenya is very unique in the sense that we speak English in this region. So you don't have a problem coming here because you're not gonna be like, oh, I need someone to translate for me. No, you're fine, you know. And then Nairobi is very, very like Western in that sense. Like it has a
Yes.
blend of both. And so you're not gonna have to worry like, oh man, am I going to like shower in the trees? No, no, you're fine. Like
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about that. Two, like I think like for someone who is in the States, it's hard to think about what even a camp in Kenya should like would look like, you know.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
It's very Kenyan in that sense, but also very American. So it's like a blend of those. And so like I mean, listen, there's so many reasons why someone should come here. I mean, they while they're at camp, they also have some activities they do outside and like get to meet Kenyan people and get to learn about the culture and all these things, which if you didn't do through Blue Sky, you'd have to pay a lot of money to come and tour and do that.
mm-hmm,
So that's kind of just that's in a bundle by itself. Also, you get to come here and experience how people worship God and how gospel is done here compared to the
mm,
US. And I think of all those things, that to me is like the biggest one because it's very like we do things very differently and it's beautiful in its own way. And so blending those two things, I think, like like I think like the way we talk about God in the US and here is not the same.
mm-mm,
But you see the people, you see their willingness and their yearn to learn more and to praise. I think no matter where you go, if you meet those kind of people, it's amazing. And then you also get to connect with kids who really don't even have a culture or a background. They're like most of them are like expat kids, so they don't like say, oh, I'm American or I'm Kenyan. They don't, depending on who's asking, they'll give them a different answer.
mm,
And so yeah, if you put all that together, man, like I think it's just a great opportunity to like pour into these kids and like get to know them and
mm-hmm,
invest in them and also be poured into in a way that's not normal. And like just see the beautiful landscape and meet good people and eat good
mm-hmm,
food and
mm-hmm.
all that stuff. So yeah, I think my selling point would be that. My drawback on Blue Sky, man, I can't even think of anything. It's pretty, yeah.
Hey, don't worry, man. They won't see this. I'm not
Oh,
joking.
hey, my boss. I'm not. You're not seeing this. I think the only thing I would say is we just need more people. We
Yeah.
just need like we already have enough, but we always just need more people. And I think like the more the people, the more you find roles for them. And I think like sometimes people come here, and this is actually a good thing. Sometimes people come here with the idea of hats and spears and lions and and all these things. And so
Yes.
you might be disappointed to find out that we actually do have a lot of modern stuff.
Yeah.
And so like in that sense, like Blue Sky is actually a very fun camp. And so man, I'm struggling to find a drawback. Hmm.
Yeah.
You know, I think like I've never actually been asked that question. What is one drawback of Blue Sky? I just think we need more people.
No.
I think I,
Hey,
th-
that's
I think yeah, we need
honest.
more people. We need
Sometimes
more like
pressure on the
yeah,
team.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, like we need more people. We need like more like people to pour into kids, to pour into families.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's always someone to serve. And so in that sense, like the way Blue Sky is set, it's very hard to find something wrong. Like, oh, this is wrong about Blue Sky. Like it's just it runs so smoothly that it's like, man, yeah, I can't think of anything. So
That's
if you're gonna if you okay, the only thing I would say though is culture shock. That's the only thing. Like if you're coming from the States and you're coming to Kenya, some people don't realize how different it is. And so I think in that sense, and Blue Sky can't do anything to change that. I mean, there's counseling, there's all these things, but there's nothing Blue Sky can really do to change how you experience life.
okay.
Um, you're gonna see poor people at some point, and that's
Yeah,
just what it is, like nothing's going to change that. um and so in that sense, like, I think the culture shock is the only thing I would say, and jet lag. But other than that, I think it's an amazing camp for sure.
that's awesome, man. That's interesting.
Yeah.
You're talking about the expat kids, kind of like just the different culture they're raised into, and they can never answer to like, yeah, I belong to this culture, or anything. And that, I mean, I don't know, I think it's very relatable. I was actually talking to my mom and dad the other day. It's like, you know of course, like, moving here is like, even studying, I mean, you can even relate to it a little bit, like studying in Kenya, like when we were living with them and stuff. And it's like, you're in this new, even though you're in Kenya, the culture that you're living in is very different. And so both of you, the parents and the kids, are kind of trying to like connect with this, with this, like, what is the middle point, like how can we, what are we understanding, you do something so strange, but just like, wait, what was that?
What's that? Yeah, 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 yeah.
You eat new foods and all that stuff. But then, like, here it's also like, similar to that, like the, just like, you don't, somebody asked me, it was like, were you, would you like to, like, would you ever like to go back to Kenya? Of course I want to go back to Kenya, but like, there's
Hmm.
this part of me that's just like, man, but I've been so like long removed, that it'd be so like, it's not gonna be, some, to me, like, we were talking about the 2010s, the good times, but I've been so far removed that, like, if I went back, it's not gonna be the same. And
Yeah,
it's just
yeah,
kind of like,
yeah,
it feels like very, I don't know, like sad, or to some extent, but like a little bit like, wow, like,
yeah,
man, I should
yeah, yeah.
don't have that. Like, that identity is kind of like getting lost
Hmm.
slowly.
Hmm.
I'm also
It's
American, so you're in this middle point of like, okay, so Kenya is kind of getting lost a little bit. You're not American. There's this
where are
like
you? Yeah, 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 yeah,
unique level of
yeah.
identity, type of identity, and it's kind of weird. I don't know, like, I don't know if they ever, if some of the kids share that with you, like, how do you, like, if you ever like are able to connect with them in, like, since you've been able to experience both cultures,
Yeah,
and stuff.
man. You know what? When I first moved here back during COVID, it was the hardest time of my life because, like, I was so ready for the community aspect of Kenya, right? I mean, it's
Mhm.
Malindi, you know what I mean? And then it was shut down. And so there were things I would see, small things. It's never really, it's always the small things. Like, you are waiting for an Uber and he's saying, I'm coming in 10 minutes, and then he comes in 40, like those things don't mean much until they do. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Or like, you're like, man, I need to find a plumber to fix my bathroom. And then 5 fixes later, it's still not fixed. You're like,
Yeah.
oh my God. Like there's those type of things, like, or okay. One of them that's so funny is I love mustard, right?
Mustard.
And yeah, I don't know why. Just like, I have
Awesome.
people here have either a very amazing reaction to it or a very terrible reaction to it. And so, like, one time we were having a burger and there was no mustard, and I was like, "Hey, do you have guys have mustard?" He's like, "What's that?" I was like, "Okay, okay, I see what you mean." And so even someone might explain something to you, or like even quotes and phrases and ways of speaking, and someone will say something. Another one is, I'm so used to saying bye at the end of hanging up a call, right? I'll
Mhm.
say
Mhm.
bye. In Kenya, we don't do that. You'll be like, hey, yeah, yeah, so whatever, okay, and then they'll just hang up. Boom. Yo, I'll be like, ah, what? You're like, hey, excuse me. You'd even call them back, and be like, hey, listen, what happened? Like, why did you not
Yeah.
say bye? And so it's those small things that actually, like, I think over time you start realizing, oh man, I can't connect with these people, but I can't fully connect with these people because
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
said,
Yeah.
when you're in the US, um, you like you miss the community, right? But when you're here, sometimes it can become over too much, like too much community. You kind of miss like that like the little respect in terms of like, oh, I need my space, because some
Mhm.
people don't
Makes
know what
sense.
space is.
Grounded.
Um, yeah. Um, but yeah.
Okay, that's yeah, that's interesting. But so you, let's say, like, I mean, what are you, where are you at now with, like, um, are you still trying to like move back to the States, or like now you've kind of figured out, like you've kind of settled in everything, like you said the first few years you're doing school and it was really tough because of COVID. Are you at a point where like you kind of settled and like it's like okay, I can see it working out in for me, or are you like no, this is not a long term for me, this is just like a growing point, but the ultimate is to move back.
You
I
know
don't know if
what?
that.
Yeah, that's a very good question. I feel like, again, it's some things like are just harder. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
um, it was very easy as a young kid. Now it seems like everything is just in terms of like moving to the states right now. This moment in time, politically and everything is just very hard, and it, it's such a headache that you're like, you know what? If God wills it, sure. If not, fine. But like I'm not like, ugh, you know what I mean? Like you can't, because just the circumstances of like looking at it from that perspective. I mean, I would love to, but if not, there's always other countries to go to. I just, you know, there is, but it's just I feel like right now it's just for anyone from any point of the world going to America, it's just a headache. You know what I mean? It's just like, oh man, like you never know what the experience is going to be. It's always a hit or miss, and so it's like, oh, why does it have to be that way?
Yeah.
Um and so for me, like I've never really thought about this until now. I've always known where I want to go in the sense of like the overall picture of it. Like, one day have a family, maybe like I've always wanted to. I thought, okay, I'll be president of Kenya, but now I'm like, you know what? Yeah, it's tricky just because of what I'm seeing going on, and so and like, but I've always had that overall like goal of giving back. You know what I mean? And so whatever leads me to that is what I'll follow. It might not be America, it might be like
Yeah.
Papua New Guinea or somewhere. I don't know, but it's just like giving back has always been a big deal, especially since we come from a place where people eventually like will always. I mean, we will eventually give back in one way or another, in as much as like knowledge, information, or whatever, or we will go back to help those who now have knowledge but don't know how to apply it. I don't know. But I've changed my perspective lately in terms of like wanting to move to a place and allowing my goal to be where I want to go. If that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I do know the goal. I don't know the vehicle towards that goal. It might be the US, Yeah. And I read somewhere that when things are meant to happen, they will happen. Whether it takes 1 year or 10 years, I don't know. Um, but yeah. So
Let
if
me.
you have the number of the president, just call him. Tell him I
Yeah.
want to come.
Mm. All right. He might be a little busy with some other stuff right now, but
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh man, yeah, 100%.
that's funny.
Oh man, yeah. Man. So do you know? Uh, okay, football. So I've been.
Hey, bring it
Do you
on,
know?
man.
Do you know who this guy is? Yokeres. Oh, hold on.
Victor Yokeresh, yes.
Yeah. So the whole time we've been wanting to buy him, right? And everyone's saying he's going to menu, he's going to menu, he's going to menu. And then Fabrizio, you know who Fabrizio Romano is?
Victor
Yeah.
Romano, the one
He's
who
just
went to the
said,
draft before,
yeah,
yes.
he's just said, while I was talking to you, he just said Victor Yokeres' priority is to join Arsenal. Arsenal of everyone. Arsenal. His priority is to join Arsenal this summer, despite calls from Manchester United in the recent weeks. Bro, my heart just sank. Like what? And then Gyökeres always an option amid Sesko talks with no deal sealed so far. Arsenal keep assessing situation. United remain keen, but believe deal now unlikely. When
Woo!
it rains,
Oh
when it when,
man,
when it rains, it pours, my friend. Why?
look,
I was
look,
so happy.
that was gonna be a good signing for y'all. I mean, it
I
still could
know.
happen. Woo!
Arsenal. Why would someone choose Arsenal? Like with the
At,
right brain.
at least you guys has Matthias Cunha.
Cunha. Man, why Arsenal? I would be okay if you went to Chelsea or Man City. Arsenal. Why? Why that? Like, because I have someone who works at Blue Sky who's an Arsenal fan, and I've been bragging to him all this time about this guy, and so now he's chose Arsenal. This is like that one guy who tries and tries and tries, buys her flowers, takes her out, and then there's the other guy who does nothing, right? And then she's like, actually, I'm gonna go to bed. Like, bro, we've been trying singing his name, doing posts, reels, everything. Nah, he's just decided to go to Arsenal. I feel like now it's just like if he actually does end up going to Arsenal, I think I'm never gonna like him again. Like I was actually like, he's amazing. Actually,
Yeah.
as from now, he's actually really bad. So
A lot of people have actually like, I don't know. It's gonna be a hard sell for Manchester unless the player you're getting really is a diehard Manchester fan.
that's
Like I
true.
mean, Liam Delap gave up, went to Chelsea,
Went to
and now
Chelsea,
this
man.
guy, huh?
Gyökeres is going somewhere else, and then
Yeah,
now we don't know if Mbuemo is coming. We don't know
Buemo's
if
coming
like
to Tottenham.
Sesko is coming, bro. It just keeps getting worse. It
It
just
gets
like at this point, as a Man U fan, you sometimes you sit down and you're like, you know what? Like for the first time, I've enjoyed no football for the first time. Like
man.
this, I'm like, you know what? It's amazing. It's great because when the season starts and that guy kicks the ball, you know it's about to go down. And then every weekend, man, you're just like losing and losing and losing, and it's like, oh
Have
my
you seen
gosh.
Have you seen that guy on Instagram? He's like, something like 358 days since I got my hair before or something.
Yeah, yeah. That guy is gonna have a very long haircut.
He's gonna go. That guy
That
needs
guy.
to cut. Oh
Oh
my
man,
god!
because like, bro, I'm
That
telling you, you know that did you watch the Europa League final?
yes.
Bro, I was so pumped. Like I was like, listen, I was like, this we're going to win this. I even took a flag. I took
Believing that
pictures.
Tottenham
I was like, no, Tottenham is they're not gonna lose. And then they scored like it was like 60 minutes. The next 30 minutes were the longest 30 minutes of my life because
yeah,
you're
because
sitting there.
strong defense and like
Yeah,
the attacking was trash though, but like
and you're sitting there and you realize, you know what, we're not gonna score. Like I realized, like in the 70th minute, I was like, I just sat there, I was like, oh, also, funny story. There's a guy who I've been watching football with for the last 3 years, right? I don't know this guy's name. I never knew this guy's name. So,
you said for the last how long?
3 years, 3 years. I don't know the guy's name. So every time I go there, it's at this cafe, right? Like if he's not there, it's not fun. Like he shows up, I'm like, sup, And so then I start complaining about this cafe because sometimes they take stuff off the menu, they do all these things. Every time I complain, the stuff comes back. I don't know the guy's name, and I see him every time. So that day, where on the final, bro, we were like he came over with his friends. I think his girlfriend was there. We put like seats together. There was food, and we were like having a lot of fun until those guys called. The guy started crying. And I was like, yo, buddy, what's your name? He goes, Vincent. I'm like, Vincent, come to find out, he's a part owner of this place. That's why every time I complain, something gets changed. I
That
did
makes
not
you
know.
happy.
Yeah, but now I'm like, wait a second. So this whole time I've been complaining to this guy about this place, and he's actually the owner. I didn't. All I knew was his name was Bro. What's up, bro? Like that's all. I was like football guy. If yeah, but yeah, that final, man, like it took a
I
lot,
can't believe it, man. I was like, oh yeah, man, you easy. Like, I mean, you guys had it. Like Bruno Fernandez always goes crazy on the finals. Like he's always gonna make something happen. Like, I
bro.
mean, look at the way he played in Portugal, and like this, I was like 1-0, and then he just stayed like 1-0 to. I'm like,
And then now Ange goes. The second season is always the best, and then he gets sacked.
and then
It's
he gets sacked.
like I'm like, why did he even have to win it? Like he would, if he knew he was gonna get sacked, he should have just let us win it, bro. That final,
That's a crazy take too. That's wild. He would have just let us win it. That's
yeah, the final was so bad, bro. Like I sat down and I was like, you know what? Like we lost, right? And I had talked so much trash the weeks
I know.
before that, especially
I
since
saw
us.
your reels. I saw your reels. You were like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah, 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 yeah. Oh my gosh. So
like
then
oh,
when we lost that night, I came home. I just dropped down. I put my phone down and I went to sleep. The next morning when I woke up, I got like 29 messages. There is a boy from high school who I haven't talked to since 2017, but he's a Tottenham fan. And the last message I ever sent him was, "Yo, Tottenham is crap." Right? Then that day, the second day, he goes, "Guess what?" I was like,
You
since,
saved
since
it, man. You saved that
since
message.
I was like, this guy has been waiting for 20, like since 2017, man. I was like, oh my gosh,
Crazy.
but yeah, I mean, I don't know what we're going to do, to be honest. Like, it's just if this
Hey,
guy's not coming,
everybody was talking like, the Chelsea's way of doing things. We went to Brazil, we bought all the young players.
yeah,
Of
yeah,
course,
yeah.
a lot of them didn't work out. Like we've sold them, we've sent them on loans and everything. A lot of them didn't work out. But but the ones that have worked out, now
Worked
I
out
feel like
good,
people are kind of seeing like, okay, of course you can call it the $1 billion whatever they want to say, the bust or whatever. But we finished below you guys last season. Now we've come back to top four. We won a trophy. Of course, you can call it whatever. It's not a trophy. It's a friendly or whatever you want to call it. It's still a trophy. But I
bro.
mean, I feel like see Cole Palmer was a great purchase. Every like all the all
It's
the all
it's all
the
good, yeah, yeah. Imagine this, like, if I was given Chelsea, where you guys are now, I would take it. I would take it over United 100,000 times, because at least you guys have what's his name, the owner. His heart is in the right place. He wants
yeah.
to like, he might do it too much. I would like too much other than too little. People who can do a Yokeris deal. You know what I mean? It's just, it makes no sense. And so for me, I'm like, yeah, like, it makes sense to think that, oh yeah, they're buying a lot of players, but at the end of the day, I would I would chop my fingers off to just win that Conference League trophy, because now we don't have anything. And so then
Mhm.
this guy is going to Arsenal. It's just like, pain after pain after pain after pain. At
Yeah,
some
yeah.
point, you're like, oh my gosh. But
Really,
yeah, how
Arsenal needed a striker because like they lost what's his name? They lost Jesus, and then they lost the German guy, and now like I mean they played pretty much the whole season with like a makeshift like striker or like a false
hmm
nine. So it
hmm
might be they might be winning something this season. They always like make fun of them. They're called the Netflix team or whatever.
Liddy,
But
let me tell you something. Of any team, the last team I want to get anything, like even
yeah,
just even a foul, it's Arsenal, because they talk so much. Bro,
they're
these
going to
guys are
win.
going to flex so much, especially since we took two of their kids, Heaven, and the other one is called Obi. We took them from them.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Cheeto Obi something. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If this guy is beat us in this, oh my, they're gonna talk so much. But you know what? I don't think they'll win the league next season either.
You
Because
don't?
if no, because have you seen who Man City bought? Those guys are coming back. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Man
the
City dude. Their squad is strong.
and
They got,
Liverpool, they're still keeping up. Yeah.
they got, they got a De Bruyne replacement. They're looking good.
Yeah. And so for me now, I'm like, you know what? Like, Arsenal thought, yeah, if Man City are taken out, we'll win. Then Liverpool just slotted right in. If Liverpool come out, City will slot right back in. They're never going to win anything. You know what? I might be saying this and jinx it, but I truly believe in my bones they are never going to win anything, especially since they took this guy from us. But hey, who
You
knows?
jinx it. You jinx it.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah. But
what do you think? What do you think? Okay, so Man City and Liverpool have been on the transfer market, and they both got two players from the same position. So Ryan Cherky and Florian Wirtz. Florian Wirtz is like 159 mil or whatever. Ryan
Chuck
Cherky
is
is
like 30, so
30 something. Do you think Florian Wirtz is worth that and is better than Ryan, or do you think? Because I've seen you saw Ryan play, right? You saw him play in France, and like that goal against who did he score against? Anyways, the volley goal that was
hey,
incredible.
he played
And
against us in Lyon. Like, he beat
yeah,
he's
exactly. He
yeah.
played against Lyon too.
He,
And then what's it? Florian Wirtz against Germany, he was silenced. Like
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
silenced.
I
He
don't think
didn't.
he's going to. I don't think he's going to do that well. I mean, yes, Liverpool are at such a level that even if he doesn't do well, he'll still be good. But Charky is not a system player. Like, he. I don't. He okay. The only thing that might kill Charky's career is like what Grealish does, because Grealish at a team like Villa was like a free player, right? Like he would get the ball. In Man City, you're like pass, 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 pass. Chucky is like he gets the ball, he does things, right? Pep doesn't want that. Pep wants pass, pass, pass.
That's
Whereas
why the Bruno was successful there because
yeah,
his pass.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, 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 yeah. So
Yeah.
I would actually argue for if you swapped them and you put Chuck in Liverpool and Vats in Man City, it would work out so
Mm,
perfectly because Vats,
hey,
he like the way he played in Leverkusen, he's a point like he take the ball from the defense and then whereas Chucky, man, imagine Chucky in Liverpool in that midfield because he'll be playing next to Soboslai and man, what's that guy's name? McAllister. So like him and that guy would like coordinate really well. But hey, we'll see. I don't know. I
I
don't
see
know,
what you
man.
mean.
Like yeah. But before we go, man, it's been an hour. This is pretty cool. I have a question for you before we go. What is one life lesson that you've learned that you'd like to share?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. One life lesson that I've learned that I'd like to share, man. I think first of all, I think one thing that I've learned is like I am really thankful for kind people because like um I've been in situations where like sometimes life just kind of like has caused me to become the kind of person you meet on the road, and I don't want to say hi back, or I don't want to be the one that says hi
Mhm,
first,
mhm,
or just kind of like shell in, just kind of fall like become very like very uh, say no to like community or whatever it's not. And then kind people, it's just like the reason why I say thankful for kind people is like just not giving up, and always like has become very very generous in one way or the other, whether it's like by just still keeping going, and that's family and that's friends. And yeah, so, and I think another life lesson that I've learned is um I think let me see, it's always like it always seems like everything, not everything, but like a lot of things may seem like really tough at the moment, like when you're in it, like you are the one experiencing like the worst you're experiencing. So that does not like it doesn't really like nullify like that. Oh yeah, your period is going, or like your time, or your moment is bad. It's just like
mhm,
I've come to realize that like when you like the moments that I felt like the most, like, so to call it, like down, or like mental health, it's like some of those moments have been usually when I'm like most selfish, that
mhm,
I'll be like,
mhm.
I'm constantly thinking about myself, like, oh, this is not going so well, oh, this these people are not doing this or whatever. But then I realize, when I sit down, I'm like, but am I really reciprocating, and it's like,
Yeah.
and then when that switches, I'm like, hmm, so is that's what it is. And so yeah, again, just thankful for people that have been there for me, that have stayed kind, and just kind of like very very understanding throughout like anything,
That's
my
so
time
cool. Yeah.
my time. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know it's kind of a little bit shallow, but
No, no,
yeah,
no, no. 100%. You know what?
uh,
Um, since the last five, so I will say in the 2010s, right? There was a lot going on for both of us without us trying so hard.
mhm,
Like it was just like, "Ah, this is happening. Well, we're doing well. This, and they were just like things were sliding into place. Then, as we grow up, you have to kind of become the one who does a lot for yourself, and you kind of have to figure stuff out in that sense. And like I have learned that in this moment right now, right, no matter who it is, you have something that you might not be taking so, like, being so grateful about until the next moment where you don't have it anymore, right?
mm,
Like,
mhm,
like me having a dad, him dying, or us having to like travel back and forth as much as we wanted. These kind of things. In the moment, it's like, yeah, we'll do that, and then like you realize later, like, wow, that was actually pretty cool. You know what I mean? And so it's like
yes,
the only thing that I am still grateful for is not going to school. That other than that, like I hated school. Like high school, bro, I hated school. But every day I look back, I'm like, what am I like missing that I should have been grateful for. And school is always the one thing I'm like, take that out, But like, I came up with this idea of like, I have this book, right here, and every day, no, that's not true. Um, Maybe like once a week. Every day will be a lie. Once a week, when I see this book, I will take a pen and write down, I am grateful. And then I'll just keep like in a full sentences, right? What's so funny about that is if you look at that book like 10 months later, some of those things might not be there anymore.
Hmm.
And so then, then once you cross them out, right, you replace them with what replaced them. And sometimes it actually makes it very clear that, oh my gosh, like I had this great thing going on. I don't anymore. Oh wow, this was not a great situation. Even I was so grateful for it, but now it's better. And so you kind of almost like you look at it over time. Like there's one I had for 2020 that was like, I am grateful for school. And I was like, I'm grateful for like being healthy during lockdown. Now I'm like, yeah, lockdown wasn't that great, but I was still grateful for that in that time. You know what I mean? Now it's better. So now, like, like again, I know it's such a cliche thing, but you don't know how important something is until it's not there anymore. And like for me, it's like always been like the ability to just see everybody that I love and know at
Hmm.
any point that I want. Like I think you and I are in the same in this way. Like we've never really had access to everyone at the same time.
Hmm.
Either you are over there and you don't have access to people here, or you're here, you don't have access to people there.
Yeah.
Some people their entire life is in one small town. And that's amazing to just be able
Mhm.
to like at the border of that town, no one beyond that. Everybody you know is in that town. that's
Yes.
ama- that's amazing. But like again, like having to know people all over the world is great. It's just like just like so then that makes it where like when you eventually meet them or see them, you do appreciate it because you don't see them all the time. It's such a blessing and a curse in that sense. And I wouldn't want it any other way. But still, it's just like for me, like just gratefulness and kindness. Like you said, it goes a long way. It goes a long way.
Yes.
The other day I met this Uber driver. He is the first Uber driver in Nairobi, right? Because I take Ubers a lot. Well, I actually
Mhm.
take Bolt, but it's still kind of the same thing.
Mhm.
This guy was so bubbly and kind. Now, funny thing is, what I've come to learn is most young Uber drivers are so grumpy. I don't know why, right? The older ones are very nice and kind. And so this guy was like he was maybe like in his 60s or 50s, and he was like well dressed, really kind. Like he was like, "Hello, sir, how are you doing?" And like he put my stuff in the back, and it was like so charity and stuff. And then I asked him like, I always ask them, do you have a job? Most of them are like, no, man, Uber is cutting us a lot of prices. Like, oh man, their fines are so low, and the percentages is so much. And he said, yes, I love my job. And I was like, oh, this is the first guy I've met that loves his job. And I asked him like why. He went, I get to meet people. I get to talk to people, and I've seen people of all kinds in this car. I've met people who are drunk. I've met people who are going to hospital. I've met people who are going to have a baby. Like every kind of people. And it's interesting because for him, he was a policeman, right? And he was shot, so he had like a gunshot like thing here in the hand, and he was like, that gave me perspective of what a good life is. This is easy, right? Being a policeman, being in the military is so hard that once he was done, just driving a Uber around and talking to people was like the best thing ever, right? And I was like, wow, this guy is amazing. And so then like I got to talk to him and took his number. He's such an amazing, and he was so kind that I didn't even realize how fast the ride was. The next ride, mm, I met a guy. I was like, "Hey, do you like a job?" No. Why?
Mhm.
It's like, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, you're back!" But yeah, kindness does go a long way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So
You remember that guy because of just that and stuff, and
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's really cool. That's you mentioned another thing also, like just the lack of kind of how I guess I took it for granted, just the um just the idea of like how easy it was to like travel between places, and now that I'm here, I'm like,
That is the only one that I still look back and I'm like, you know what? Every like, there's some things, right? you know my life more than more people, and I won't go into details, but there are things that have been affected, school and all that stuff, by me not being able to travel right now, and I would trade traveling at a younger age for now. Like that's the only thing. And then again, like at the worst time, at the moment where you need to get everything in order, is when like all this politics stuff come up, COVID comes up, and all these things. And I look back and I'm like, I'm grateful for where I am, but I wish I was more aware of that then. That's the one that I always go back to, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I should have enjoyed those moments more. Or like, should have just, and so now I'm like,
Mm,
because it's not even the idea of travel, it's the people, right?
yes.
And again, like, we've gone through this, but this year we did lose someone very special, and not being like just having to watch their funeral online and stuff. That is like, that's when like you're like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like, because for me, I was like, I see these people, I see them progressing in life. I wish I could just sit down with them and talk to them. And then like when this person passed away, it clicked in my mind. I was like, oh my goodness, if this was 2010s, I could have easily gone to the funeral, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's the most profound thing for me. I'm like, man, I should have been more grateful for those moments, but
Mhm.
who knows, maybe God is teaching us to be more grateful, and then he's
Yeah.
going to bring us back then, so we'll see.
Yeah. Once
Yeah.
once once that is all clear, man, I'll be like, I would
Yeah,
love
you'll
to.
be like, come on. So now every flight will be like, someone will be like, oh man, I'm sitting in the aisle seat. I'm like, you know what? I'll sit on the floor. You're like, yeah, you're
Yeah.
like, oh wow, yeah, yeah. It doesn't matter what it doesn't, because again, you get so comfortable, you forget what matters, right? If I
Yeah.
get to see these people, I don't care if I'm sitting on the wing. Plus, planes now are kind of falling out of the sky all the time. I would rather,
Mm.
you know what I mean? So it's like, do you see that guy who survived? Like
There was
in
in
bro,
the was it the recent
like
accident that happened?
I think it was 2 days ago. So 240 people, 200, I think something that, and he's the only survivor. Bro, he's
I
gonna
see that.
live his life with so much profound clarity, right? Because now everything he does, it'll be like, 240 people died and I survived. I cannot just take this for granted. Like, I know it sounds, but like, he's now, all of a sudden, he has a huge load, like, of, I hope he gets good counseling, because the guilt from that, right? Because like, if you do anything stupid,
Yeah.
like if you swerve into someone, like, you survived just to do that, you know what I mean? It's like, oh my god, like I think I would be like, yo, like everything you do for the rest of your life, if anyone asks you, hey man, like, what's something that's happened to you that you just thank God for? He's like, again, do I have to go through this? But like,
Exactly.
I always think about that, which is also the same thing as like the amount of accountability that just falls on you. You cannot do anything wrong. Like imagine if you had a heart transplant, right?
Mhm.
Okay, think about this. Nelson Mandela, the greatest human being ever, right? One of the greatest human beings. Like, he's dying, and he says, "Give my heart, donate my heart to someone else." Then you get it, and people know that you have it, and immediately you cannot do anything. Like, you
Was it?
have a
Yeah.
bro. You will be walking around, and even if you're like, like, Mandela gave his heart for you to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, yo, I'm holding so much, and I'm thinking for that guy, like, it's going to be so hard to even like think, because either you take it as like, man, I was so lucky, and become like cocky about it. You're like, yeah, my knack is huge, or you're like, man, I'm the only one who survived. So, and so then you kind of like wonder how the other families view you, because you're like,
Oh,
man,
yeah, that too, man. Yeah.
yeah, because they'll be like, yeah, why you? And then if they find out,
Yeah.
if they find
Understandable.
out you are not a great human being, they'll be like, yeah, so you survived, huh? And the great like missionary did not. It's, I don't know. I just think about that. I was like, the trauma that comes from that, man. Like, it's like,
Mhm.
or somebody did ask me this the other day. Like, we have mob justice in Kenya, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so I was gonna ask you this. So you see somebody, for example, let's say you are up front, right?
Mhm.
Walking, and then I'm behind. Oh, sorry, I'm up front walking, and then you're behind. And like in Nairobi, like there's people who snatch phones, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you have like the nicest iPhone, right? iPhone, MacBook, whatever, and you're walking in like Westlands, whatever, and then these guys on a bike just come by and snatch it, right?
Hmm.
And then so you're behind, and they're coming towards you on a bike, right? And I'm like, Edie, please stop them. Like, kick the bike, whatever, do something. Because, I mean, it's very easy to, like, triple down. If there's two people on it. And so then you're like, okay. But now, see, it's a public place. You know that these people are so bad. They attack people, they do all these things. If you stop them, they're not going to survive. They're not going to, like, there's no way. They're going to be mobbed. Like, that's just what's going to happen. But at the same time, your iPhone and MacBook and everything is going. Would you stop them? Knowing very well that if I stop them, there's a chance, even if I don't do anything to them and I leave, me stopping them handed them to mob justice, which you know how it
Mm,
ends. So,
mm,
because someone did this in I think it was like in Kisumu or Busia. Somebody stole from a lady and she was screaming, thief, thief, thief. And then he kicked the bike. The guy fell, right? And was mobbed and killed. Now then he was like, should you have stopped that person? How does that carry on your conscience? You know? Like I was like, you know what? In that split second, because then
yeah.
if you also let them go, you know they're gonna do that to someone else.
To someone else and
Um,
more and more. Yeah.
yeah, and your iPhone and whatever is gonna be gone.
I think I may get two answers for that. The great Ethan Hunt from Mission
Mm,
Impossible. He does say, I mean, he will save the one life though. He will
mm,
save his friends. Like he always goes back for them. But with this situation, you also have in your conscience that like this guy. I mean, he's not good. So like he's definitely gonna continue to do to do all to
mm, mm.
cause all this trauma, all these problems. But then like, oh man, that's a hard question. Would I stop him?
Even
Okay.
okay, even if you don't stop them, but you scream, right? Like you scream and they're stopped. Like in a marketplace, for example, someone stole from you a lot of money, for example. If you scream, you have started a chain of reactions that will lead
Mm.
to them probably dying, right? So then do you scream or do you let them go? Because again,
In your example though, okay, so this is the second one I was going with. If let's say the guy stole a phone, got on the bike, pickpocketed, we saw him, got on the bike, you're like, hey, stop them. With the consequence that might happen to them for just stealing a phone, I'm not gonna do that.
you let them go.
We can buy another phone.
Yeah. Oh, you're like someone else stop them, not me.
Because I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't think I can carry
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. Because you'll always be thinking, man, that guy, he had a baby at home, something.
Now in this other situation where like for example it was nighttime and like there was somebody walking and he got attacked and just like all this like it's much more worse. The guy that got attacked has to go to the hospital and stuff. I think that might be a little bit different where like I would definitely. I think it
Scream.
just poses more danger,
Yeah.
more danger to the community, and so I think I
Yeah,
would
yeah,
scream.
yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
but that's
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, yeah. Until you're in that situation, you don't think about it. And then,
they get caught. It's on. I feel like it's on me to some extent.
yeah, because you'll always be walking there like, man, if you walk by there, you're like, yeah, this is the place,
Yeah,
And
exactly. This is
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. And so, and then, see the guy in Kisumu, what ended up happening is because he's the one who screamed, that person's family came for him, you know. And so it's like it's hard because you're like, man, you don't want to be the one in the spotlight. Like, you want someone else, you want it to be someone else. Like it's very hard to be the one that calls the shots and that it's almost like being a whistleblower, you know what I mean? It's
yeah,
like because the consequences are dire. And in that moment you just think about like, man, like I know this is such a foreign thing in the US, but here, like those kind of things, like, if someone robs you and you scream and they're caught, they're probably gonna get killed. And then you're like, whoa, do I want to hold that? Do I want to scream? Do I want to, like it's a lot. So one of my friends was like, I will scream, I'll kick the bike. I'm like, whoa, okay. He's like,
You're strong, man.
He's like, I have
Mhm.
a strong. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm cleaning up the. I was like, wow, okay. I'll be like, you know what?
Yeah.
For me, I would be like, I I went too deep into it. I was like, what if I could like take the bag from them and let them go, or
Yeah.
something like that, or like tell them don't steal again or whatever. But it's just it's hard. I don't know, but
I
man,
got a last question before we go there. I
yeah,
got a
yeah.
last
Hmm.
question. So I am like putting in like for one of my assignments to like working at PMAC is
Hmm.
I'm doing like a presentation for it's next week is gonna be like International Week,
Hmm.
um around the world. So mine is Kenya, of course,
Hmm.
and so the question is as a for you, what how would you what are some like fun facts, or what are some like monuments, or what are some like things you would tell I'm like kindergarten to a fifth grade child about Kenya, because they ask me all these questions. Like one of the kids asked me like, hey, Mr. Edie, how long does it take you to get from Africa to Kenya every day? Because he was thinking that I live in Africa every day and I have to go to Kenya.
That's amazing. Yeah, yeah. That's
Those
awesome.
questions are in the air. So
Yeah.
how would you? What are some things that you would like put in a presentation to be able to like let a kindergarten child to a fifth grader understand Kenya?
Okay. So first, I would start again with the normal things like big five, like the animals that we see. I would even go as far as explaining. You remember, like from the house, we could always hear the lion roaring,
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
give them like
I
an
remember
example
that.
of
I
the
remember.
distance.
Yeah.
Like all that. Yeah. And then explain to them how crazy it is that a single person could speak more than five languages.
Mm-hmm,
That like yo, that's crazy. Um, and then explain to them in terms of, I mean, it's a fifth grade, so like what the price of a burger, right, could could do to a Kenyan family. I mean, that's crazy, but like just to explain how the life here is, you know what I mean? And then like again point out that they wouldn't see snow or fall the way in the US people do. Like I mean, it's very interesting how people just think it snows and it falls and like nah, it's just
mm-hmm,
dry and wet. There's nothing else.
mm-hmm.
Um, and then like like I think explaining, it's very hard to figure out like what to tell someone in that sense that that kind of a person could understand. You know, um, like explain that kids in Kenya wear uniform in school, and what classrooms look like and what the type of education looks like, the type of games kids play, and like how easy it is to like to basically we are raised by the safety of society in Kenya. In the US, you're raised by how safe your parents are, in the sense that I mean we just live. We are like animals, like just goats. In the morning, in the
Yeah,
morning,
yeah.
in the
Freedom, this
morning,
freedom.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. In the morning, you wake up, you take breakfast, and bro, you're gone.
yeah.
And you're going to go out there and play and play and play. Then come back in the evening, and you better come back not all muddy, because you might you might get a good spanking. But like it's just like, whereas in the US, like if you step out for like 10 minutes, as a little kid, social service is being called, man. They're like, yo, where is the, you know what I mean? So it's like, yo, where are the parents? They're not responsible. Where for us, it's like you're in the fields, you don't even know your parents leave. It's every time I hear someone say, yeah, daycare. I'm like, what's daycare? You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, we do not have that. Like, I mean, as long as you can walk, your parents are gonna go to work. You're gonna play with your friends. You know where food is. Come back and eat, then go back out. And so yeah, yeah,
That's
and so
how it was, man. You explained that perfectly, man. Like,
yeah, yeah, and so it's like
it's
those kinds of
exactly like.
things, yeah, like swimming, almost drowning, playing football in the mud, and like playing
Yeah.
banta, and like eating mapera and mangoes and jamna.
Come on, man. Come on.
Yeah, yeah. That kind of stuff.
You're telling me that you
Yeah,
helping the to the neighbor's mango
telling
tree.
you, yeah, and then a small dog chases you. You're like, yo, you get tetanus, and then the tetanus heals itself. You never get a shot. Man, thinking back, every time I hear like people
Oh.
saying, yeah, like I was watching a video today of this guy. His name is Nate, Kara and Nate. I don't know if you've known about them. They like travel the world, and he was being chased by dogs, and he was like, "Oh man, I'm gonna get rabies," right? And I'm thinking, how many kids in Africa have been bitten by dogs and not taken to the hospital, and they just seem fine? You know what I mean? It's like, like how many times has someone like fallen off a tree and scratched their thigh, and then the next
Mm,
day they're in class and they're just fine? Like those kind of things, like you think about them, and now I used to walk barefoot a lot in Kisumu, right? Because it was just a thing. Now, if I step out, my foot hurt. That's how you realize. Oh man, I've been wearing like shoes all the
me too, man.
time, like playing football barefoot, like all that stuff, and like now I'm like, whoa, it's not the same. My hands are when I climbed, my hands are very soft. They never used to be. They never used to be.
I'm
So it's like,
stopping, man.
yeah, and
That's
so like that life, I think. In its own way, it's just beautiful, and like how unaware we were as kids really did
yes.
help. Someone did say this. No, I said this, that there was a time that all that mattered was watching the Amazing Spider-Man, and eating ice cream while sitting. You remember that time? Like we would watch Amazing Spider-Man, then go to the fridge get ice cream,
Yeah,
and that was it. That was amazing. I don't know how many times we watched that Amazing Spider and Kung Fu Panda and whatever. Like this were
I
things we
could
would see
I could quote word for word from the start. I could
from
like
the start. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Avengers because I would exactly how you
I mean,
explained it.
yeah, yeah, all these things. And now
That man.
there was that metal thing with compact discs inside CDs. You remember
Yes.
that? And so you just open it and be like, "What are we watching today?" It's like, and then there's like downloading the videos and like them loading for you go and eat dinner and they're still like loading.
We would start the other night, so we would
Yeah,
start the first.
right? And downloading and then watch that, and then we would watch Arrow, the Green Arrow. We would watch
Yes.
Flash, and like all these things, and like it was such a simple time. And then go to church, come back, eat mangoes, play in the swing, and like do Thanksgiving, and now it's like taxes, politics. It's like yo,
Exactly.
it's like
Oh my.
you know, even now, I feel like the sun in 2025 looks tired. I don't know if you've seen
Uh,
like
that's so true. Bro. So true.
I'm doing this
Crazy.
this this photo
Um,
project. I'm doing this photo project for like um this thing I'm doing, and one of them is I'm trying to get the best sunset, right? And I feel like in 2010, 2020, 2014, the sunset was just so there, like Lake Victoria, like, oh, the sunset, great.
yeah.
Now I'm like, where is the sun? Like this sun is tired, bro. Like someone had this sun. My goodness, where is it? Like even the sun shines with attitude. Like you're like, yeah, sometimes it's out, sometimes it's not. It's too hot, it's too cold. It's like, wow, sun, what happened? The moon is also not. The moon is overhead. It used to be over there. You know what I mean? It's like, whoa, what's going on? So I don't know. Like those times,
These years have been crazy, man. I don't know.
like I even went through like Milimani when I was there in December. It's just dead. Like it doesn't.
Really.
There was that vibe. Even sunset, like swimming at sunset and like hanging out and doing all. Like it just you realize that it was just for a time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now it's like, man, we used to do this, and this was it. This was the life. On Saturdays, this was it. Now it's like, man, you need to get married. No, it's like, hey, young man, do you have any good friends? like, you're like, oh my god, hey, are you looking for job work? What work are you doing? What's your life goals next 10 years? What do you want
Exactly, dude.
to
Always
and
asking that.
you're
You
like,
meet somebody. So are you dating someone? What's your life goals in the next year, 10 years? So all these questions, and just like they just keep piling up. They just keep piling up.
yeah, and you're like,
Sometimes
hey,
with this conversation, it's like I need a nap, man. I need a
yeah,
nap.
yeah, yeah. It's funny how then we didn't have to look for things to do. We just did. Now you almost have to look for things to do to not feel like you're not part of a group. You know what I mean? Like it's like you have to make an effort to do things as an adult, whereas as a
Mm,
kid you just did them. And so now it's like I have to find work, which I mean makes sense. I have to find friends. You didn't have to find friends as
yeah,
kids.
people start making like you start there's running clubs. There's like
Yeah,
there's like
you're like,
it's like I'm like who running club. Like, what did we have to start
Yeah,
this?
yeah, yeah. And as a kid, you're like, "Hey, Dave, oh, you're my friend now. Let's go play." You know what? It's like, wait a second, like, where did that go? You know what I mean? And so now it's like, now we spend more money to go get friends, whereas as kids, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you're like, I even had like this is when I knew we were going down. The other day, I had two Kenyan moms, Kenyan, Edie, plan a play date for their kids. I was like,
Nah.
I was at the gym. I was like, you know what? I think we are cooked because I was like, we never used to do that. I mean,
Yeah,
play date.
absolutely.
You knock on Eddie's door. You're like, hey, yo, bro, it's time to go
Dude,
play.
once I wake up, it used to be like I wake up, chai and a chapati. I'm not if, even just chai. I'm out of the door.
You're out.
And I
You're
just,
out. Yeah, yeah. You're at the mall, like doing go karts or something, and then you show up late. But now it's like, yo, I like, hey, can Timmy come play next week? Like, no. Let me look at his calendar. So next week he's next week he's doing ballet and he's doing this recital and he's doing this. How about the 27th? Yeah, yeah. How about the James? Yeah, the 27th works. So you wait for the 27th to play with Timmy. That's
27.
crazy, you know. Um, but anyway, man, like,
Hey, I think sometimes we it's I don't know like I was at first I was very like I looked at a lot of this stuff with maybe I think there is a sweet spot, but I used to look at these things with a very like negative eye, like I was like for a good bit I was like no Instagram. So I went for like about 2 years without like I deleted the app. I like yeah, deleted my account, and if I never had it for a while. And so like I went to school like no Instagram. I didn't want
mhm.
anything to talk. I was like I'm gonna disconnect. But then I realized, I mean, it's not like it's gonna stop for me, like it's not like
Yeah,
what
yeah.
it's not like if I don't do this, I'm gonna be like this righteous man or whatever. It's like it's gonna continue, like, and that's where we're going. That's where we're going. We're gonna start like calendars are gonna be, AI is gonna be, so like it's a mental like, okay, I'm gonna choose to allow it, and I feel like this for me allow it, but like what is like definitely like there is, but then there is that danger of like it taking control. It can be very
Mhm,
addictive.
mhm,
Sitting,
mhm.
like what you're saying, you're sitting with a friend and it's like, oh, have you seen this? Have you seen this TikTok, my TikTok or whatever, versus just like, are you like, am I like when I'm having a conversation with people, like, am I strong enough to be like, okay, I am not gonna be touching my phone this
Yeah,
time,
yeah. Mhm, mhm.
I'm not gonna be allowing that to dictate how like confident I am in this situation. It's like, and that stuff and that type of stuff. And so like, I've been able to like, okay, I'm gonna get all this stuff and just kind of like be relevant to be relevant.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
how like, because I mean, it is a simple decision to be just like, no, I don't want any of this. I don't want any of
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's not gonna wait for you. So
Yeah, yeah. It's so funny how having a conversation now. You know what, Edie? You know the business we should start? I have a business idea. I think we should invest a pretty good sum of money in teaching people how to have a conversation. Because I think where we are going, where we are going, we will reach a point where people will have to learn how to have a conversation, not just talk, like how to
yeah.
actually, because again, like, you meet people and you're like, okay, so what are we going to talk about? And you have to make a conscious effort to connect with people because there is nothing they actually find interesting. Like, you're like,
Mhm.
okay, so man, what do you think about politics? No, I don't like politics. Okay, how about food? What's your favorite food? Yeah, I don't like food either. Okay, wow. Okay, 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 cool, cool. What do you do for fun? Yeah, you know what? I just exist. You're like, oh my gosh. It's just like you meet walls and walls and walls of people, And I know I'm joking, but I'm being dead serious. Like, ChatGPT has a better conversation than humans now. Like,
Yes, yes.
it even calls you. It even calls you. It calls you my dear. You're like, hey, ChatGPT. Like, hey, You're like, whoa. You're like, hey. You're like, oh my goodness. Okay, yeah, but like, I do think investing in teaching people how to have conversations is gonna matter. Like, even texting, it's like some people are just like, you text them something interesting and then they just heart it. Like, you're like,
Yeah, double tap. Double
you're
tap
like,
is easy.
say something, or they'll go like, LOL. I'm like, oh my gosh. And like now it's coming into society where people are actually talking like that. Like people are like,
Mhm.
chat, are we cooked?
Which
I'm
I
like,
think for me, okay, so I know a lot of people like our age or like even younger. Like the idea of calling just brings a lot of just a lot of anxiety. It's like, oh, what is one talking about? But to me, it's like when I text you, when I text anybody, you can send a text and mean something totally different.
yeah,
So
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm gonna be overthinking and I'm gonna be like, what do you mean by this? What are you trying to say? Like you put this emoji, is this what you're meaning to say? Versus when I call you, you're able to like
Very easy.
verbalize, use
Yep.
emotion, very
Mm-hmm.
easy,
Mm-hmm.
communicate, talk about it, make plans. Like I'm trying to, like, for example, there's a group chat here. We're trying to make plans for dinner and stuff, and everybody's like, we're talking, and people are like, I'm okay with anything you make. Like pick a restaurant. So we put a restaurant there. It's like, actually, I was thinking of this. So it's so hard to make it, and then it comes to time. It's like, okay, what time do you guys? So when like, okay, I said just like, okay, how about 6:30 or 7? It's like either one is okay. I'm like, just pick one. I
Yeah,
know either
yeah,
one is
yeah,
pick
yeah.
one.
So someone told me today about this group chat planning thing. You have to be the benevolent dictator. You just have to, like, you almost have to just take over and just tell people what time to be there, or else if you open. I work in communications and business, like, development, and one of the things I've learned is if you give people the option, they will always become stubborn with it. Like, if you ask them, would you like us to send you emails or do you not? They'll be like, no. Or if you're like, hey, would you want to be in our newsletter, or do you want, when you tell them that, hey, do you wanna have your photos online or not, they'll probably always choose not, even though it doesn't bother them. Like, it's not like, oh yeah, I'm on it. You know what I mean? And so it's like, when you give people options, they'll start being very like, let me think. But if you're like, this is what we're gonna have, they'll be like, yeah, yeah, I guess so. And so it's like, in that sense, when you're marketing for people, having the tone of, I know, yes, I will want to hear what you want, but I also know more about this matter. So trust me on this. You know what I mean? So it's like, sometimes, like, you tell people, so what time do you want me to call you? They're like, yeah. They're like, no, I'll call you at 6. And then if they don't give you a 6, they'll tell you 7. But it's always very hard to, like, know, like, if people will actually keep up with what you actually expect them to, or they'll like move the goalposts if they have the choice. So that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah,
Um, but yeah,
yeah.
listen, I'm gonna start that business sooner or later, hundred
Hey,
percent. You know,
let me join. I want a partner.
yeah, and then we'll just be like, I think this will be a funny YouTube video. You just take two people, right? I actually want to try this. I want to find a room and then put cameras in, like hidden cameras, and then take two older people, right? People from like a different generation, just put them in there and tell them nothing. And then take younger people and put them in there and tell them nothing. It's gonna be very interesting to find out what the like. You just tell them, hey, listen, I'm gonna pay you to sit here with a stranger. That's all. Just pay them to sit there with a stranger, put on cameras, and they'll know. I think the older people eventually will break it together and just find something to talk about. Um, Whereas the younger people might actually just sit there the whole time with their sweatshirts on, their hoodies on, and just stare at each other. It's like, okay, well, I guess that. But I do want to do the experiment because I think it's like, unless there's something, it's very hard to find something in common with people anymore. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah,
like, yo, what's up? What's your name? Evans. Okay, Evans. Okay, I guess I'll just sit here. Okay.
yeah.
It's like, whoa, okay.
You have to price things out so hard. I'm like,
So
you know,
hard. Yeah, it's so hard. And I do think that's why, like, even dating is so hard, because people are like, I'm not bothered. I don't want to talk. Like, why would I talk? I just do. I want to teleport. I just know, what's that word? Not teleport. Oh man, what's that word? Uh, Telepath.
mm,
Yeah, I just want to speak telepathically. I want you to know what I want without me telling you what I want. I want you to
yeah,
know my name, my favorite color, everything without me having to tell you. So then when you go, hey, why are you not talking? Why should I talk? You're like, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
yeah, man, we should do more of this. This is fun.
Yeah,
That was
man, this
1 hour, 40
this was good.
minutes. Yeah,
It's
yeah. If you know what, if
yeah,
you ever,
when Premier League starts, when Premier League starts, we should do some on the on football, man. We should just
Oh yeah, yeah. I think when it starts, we should do like if there's a big game coming, talk about it. Now, if it's a menu game, I'm telling you, before the game, I will be pumped. After the game, I might not be seen. I'll- I will be gone.
that's gonna happen a lot. That's gonna happen a lot, I
Man,
think.
can I tell you something? I actually think because you have to like lower the bar so much so that you don't get like disappointed. I think we'll be relegated. If we are not, I'll be like successful. I do. Edie, man, like Aston Villa is doing better. Like every other team that shouldn't be like in the top 10 are doing better. We have just been snubbed by Gyökeres. I'm so tired of like thinking we'll get top, even top 4 is a struggle now. If we get 10, if we get number 10, bro, I'm gonna celebrate like crazy.
But the thing is, though, you're right. You're right. The teams like Premier League is becoming really strong. You're right. Like Aston Villa,
Strong.
Brighton are always up there and stuff. So you're right. The teams are becoming very strong, and you can see like once the like when the strong teams kind of lower their standards a little bit, it becomes kind of like look where Tottenham and Man U finished, and even like last season Chelsea and stuff, and like
Yeah, yeah. Like Forest,
playing.
bro. Like they were like in the top 7. This I'm like Forest. You know what I mean? It's like anyone, as long as you are able to buy players, because most teams now have the first team and the second team in the bench. The bench just is as good as the first team. Whereas for us, there was a game where the bench was all kids. And I was like, bro, we are cooked. And now we've only signed one person. I'm telling you, like, unless the only good thing is we don't have European football, so we might be fine. But still, it's just unless we like do something magical, 10th is where I'm aiming for. And I'm being very realistic about that because I can just see like with that goalkeeper we have, man, like we'll be winning by 3-0, and then like within 10 minutes it's all like 5-0.
Onana,
That guy, bro, like as long as he's in menu.
I can't believe you guys gave up the hair for him, man. But I mean, you didn't understand. You didn't know what you were getting. He did
Oh
well
no!
in it.
Oh, I knew the fans knew. It's just it's because you can't tell who's a Man U fan and who's not. The pressure online was we need a good keeper, we need a ball playing keeper, we need a ball playing keeper. Then Onana happened to be the one in the final, and he actually did play well for that final. So Man U fans only saw one game. They're like, "Yeah, that's him." Then he came in, and we were like, first game, we were like, he was called from midfield. We were like, no, this is going to, bro, like
It's gonna be a long
if
season.
you could make an hour long like highlight reel of Onana mistakes. Some of them are so laughable. Like he will be standing there, shot straight at him, and then he'll move side, and then he just goes in. It's the craziest thing. Um, all right. Well, Edie, thank you so much, man. Thank you. This is amazing. We should do this again. I am gonna pause it, stop it. Don't hang up fast, and then it's going to upload, and then we'll be fine. But thank you so much, whoever is listening to this. And yeah, we'll be around for a while. I think Edie and I will keep doing this because this is fun. There's a lot of things about Kenya that I've just realized people don't know. Just by talking about them, you're like, oh, wow, there's these things we actually did live through. Now we don't have them anymore. And now, like the other day, I sat down and I was like, I haven't seen a butterfly in so long. Which
Hey, before we
sounds
get,
crazy. Sounds
I saw
crazy.
that. What's that animal that's like has the fire on the butt? Um, Not fire, but like
The
it lights up.
fireflies.
Light about
The fireflies. Yeah, yeah, the fireflies.
fireflies. I saw that with they're getting like they're gonna be like extinct or something like that
They might
because
be.
of
I heard that. Yeah, bro.
it's so sad. It's
There,
sad.
there was a time where like you would walk around at night, and it was so big, like there was fireflies everywhere, especially like in Kisumu. Like that side of Kisumu is so dark at night, there's not so much light pollution. You could see them everywhere. Nairobi is so bright, and so like you'd walk in the field and just you see like firefly, firefly, firefly. Now moths. It's just moths, moths everywhere. Like, you know that a society is failing when you see moths everywhere. Even bats are dying, man. Like you're like, wow. The only consistent thing is cockroaches. Those are the only ones that they will
Yeah,
never go.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think even an explosion will take those things out.
they're, will always show up. But yeah, I miss those times of like 2010, 2012. We would see like a lot of like butterflies everywhere, and like it's blooming, and like those big trees with like yellow leaves that would fall down with bees, and then like the fireflies and all that stuff. And the weather was like consistent, from
Yeah.
January to March it's raining, then no, it's dry, then raining, then now it's like February it's raining, May it's dry. It's like, whoa, even weather has an attitude. But hey, who knows? We'll see. But yeah, so I'm going to stop it. Then we can it's going to upload. Then we'll be good.
Okay, perfect.
All right.